When it comes to collecting Transformer figures, I personally believe that Titan class figures are some of the coolest ones you can get in your collection. A big reason is because of their massive size, but I think another reason is also because of how detailed a lot of these Titan class figures are. But something I've seen a lot is that most people don't pose their Titan class figures. Most of the time they're in a very basic A stance, if not just standing straight. And I completely understand that it's most likely due to space saving, because let's be honest, like I said before, these guys do take up a lot of space. But for those who do have the space to pose a Titan class figure and don't, I think you're really missing out on the potential on these guys. Because I think a nicely posed Titan class figure can really change the look of your overall display. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Speakerhead, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to pose your Titan class figures like pros. But before we get into this video, if you enjoy any of this sort of content, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help me out. I made it a personal goal to hit 1,000 subscribers on my channel before 2024, so if you want to help me reach that goal, make sure to subscribe. Also, a friendly reminder that 1 like equals 1 pat for my little buddy Doug here. Say hi, Doug. Finally, I want to mention if you enjoy any of the music in this video or just want to support the channel in general, it's all part of my royalty-free music label, Speakerhead Studios. All the music on this label is completely royalty-free, so go ahead and use it for any of your content creating needs. But now that we got all that out of the way, let me show you guys how to pose your Titan class figures like pros. Something I do want to mention before we get into any sort of posing is that I only have 2 different Titan class figures, which is going to be the Siege Omega Supreme and my Autobot Arc, but I keep that in shuttle mode with my legend skill and I really don't feel like pulling that down. So for all these poses, I will be using Siege Omega Supreme. I am aware that every single Titan class figures have different levels of articulation, but you'll just have to work with me on this. These are more general ideas of poses you can do with your Titan class figures. So for these poses, I'm going to start with the ones that don't take up a lot of space and then slowly work up to the more dynamic poses. La 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 ba da 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 da. And to start off, we're going to do our classic A stance. So for this pose, first you want to bring the legs slightly apart. Next, you're going to want to rotate the legs slightly outwards. After that, you want to rotate the chest either left or right if it's able to rotate. Next, you're going to want to bring both arms slightly out to the side. Then you're going to want to slightly bend both elbows. From there, you want to rotate the arms inward. Finally, you're going to want to turn the head in the same direction as the lower torso. Finally, if your Titan class figure is able to adjust the head to look downwards, you should do so. And there you have a nice looking A stance for your figures. And this is a pose I recommend for any scale figure because it's just a good looking pose and it's very simple. And then on top of that, it pretty much takes up the same amount of space as if it was standing straight. So for our next pose, we're going to be doing a little bit wider of an A stance. To start, you're going to want to spread the legs apart, but you want to do slightly more than the last pose. Next, you're going to want to bring the torso forward just shy of 45 degrees. From there, you want to slightly bend both knees. Next, you're going to want to rotate both legs slightly outwards. After that, you want to rotate the torso left or right, but more exaggerated than the last pose. After that, you want to bring both arms out about 45 degrees. Next, you want to bend both elbows about 45 degrees. Then from here, you can choose to rotate the arms either in or out 45 degrees, but in this photo, I chose to rotate them inward. Then you're going to want to rotate the head so it's facing the same way as the lower torso. And then finally, once again, if you can adjust the head to look downward, you want to do that. And there's a nice slightly more exaggerated A stance for your figure. Now this next stance is going to be for the people who have slightly more space available to them. And this is going to be more of a battle pose. To start, you're going to want to bring one of the legs to the side 45 degrees. Then from there, you want to take that same leg and bring it outwards about 45 degrees. From there, you want to bend the knee all the way until the foot is flat. Next, you're going to want to bring that opposite leg out to the side as well, but not as much as the first leg. After that, you want to rotate the legs slightly outwards. After that, bring both arms out about 45 degrees. Next, you're going to want to rotate the torso towards whichever leg is forward. After that, bend both arms about 45 degrees. From here, I like to rotate the forward arm inwards and the back arm outwards. Then you want to rotate the head so it's facing the lower torso. Finally, once again, if your Titan figure can look downwards, you want to do that. And then something else you can do if you want your figure to look more downwards is you can slightly rotate the torso down. And I really like this look because it really looks like the Titans are looking down on the tiny other robots. But now that we're done with that pose, let's move on to our next one, which is going to be an animated action pose. First, you want to bring the legs outwards about 45 degrees. From there, you want to rotate the legs slightly outwards. Next, you're going to want to bring both the legs forward and bend the knees so that way the torso is slightly leaning forward. Then you want to rotate the torso left or right. And for my Omega Supreme, since his shooting arm is his left hand, I made sure to rotate it so that way that was forward. From here, we're going to be posing each arm independently. First, we're going to start with the back arm. First, you want to bring that outwards about 45 degrees. From there, you want to bend the elbow out 45 degrees. Next, you're going to want to rotate the lower arm inward. Finally, you're going to want to rotate that entire arm slightly forward. Now moving on to the forward arm. First, bring the arm slightly outwards. Then you're going to want to rotate the entire arm upwards slightly more than 90 degrees. After that, you're going to want to slightly bend the elbow so that way the gun is facing upwards. And then honestly, from this position, you can adjust the arm to wherever you want it to be pointing. After you're done positioning both arms, you're going to want to adjust the head so it's facing the same direction as the blaster. And then from here, if your figure is able to look upwards, you want to make him look upwards so he's facing the exact same way as the gun. And there you have an action pose for your Titan class figures. Once again, I know this position takes up a lot of space, but if you have the space available, I highly recommend it. And now moving on to our final pose for Titan class figures, and this one's a bit of a cheat that I use for all figures. And it's really obvious, but put him in alt mode. Now I'm just going to state this right off the bat, you need a lot of space to keep a Titan class figure in alt mode, so I understand if most people can't do this. Heck, in order to get these photos, I had to move my entire TV and take a picture on my TV stand because I have absolutely no room for a Titan class figure in alt mode. However, if you do have a lot of space available to you where you can put a Titan class figure in alt mode, it is always an amazing way to display your Titan class figures. Because essentially Titan class figures do two things in alt mode. For starters, it's generally just a really cool piece to look at in alt mode, but then it can also act as a bit of a diorama for your displays. For example, putting little figures all around your Titan class figures so that way they got a bit of an action scene going. Once again, to the very few who have the space to actually display a Titan class figure in alt mode, this is the best way to do it in my opinion. It's just really unique and I honestly really don't see anyone ever doing it, so you would be one of the few out there that do that. And honestly, if I ever do get enough space to display a Titan class figure, that's probably how I'm going to display at least one of them. But guys, these are going to be all my different poses for Titan class figures. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if any of these poses helped you out, and let me know if you want to see any more videos like this. Once again, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help me out. And finally, if you enjoyed any of the music in this video, it's all part of my royalty-free music label, Speakerhead Studios, link in description. But that's going to be it for me, guys. I appreciate you checking out the video, and I'll catch all y'all in the next one. Peace!